Okay, so it started off where Cheyenne loves the East Coast, and we always kind of had this fight about it because I never wanted to go to the East Coast. She always talks about how amazing the East Coast is, and I was like, and she's like, we've never taken a trip together, and I would love to go to the East Coast. So I knew for her, like, that would be really meaningful. I thought that she would really love it. But I didn't want to go someplace cliche, like, I wanted to go a place I would really enjoy, and so I started kind of researching, and I found this place called Montauk, which is at the very edge of Long Island. It's like kind of past the Hamptons, and it is, so it's a little bit more of a creative edgy, like, version of the Hamptons, if you will, kind of, maybe, I don't know. So I found this place called the Surf Lodge, and I was like, this place is like amazing. It was a hotel, and I was like, I would want to go to this place. And I'm very big on hotels, if anyone knows that, like, I don't know, whatever. I'm not gonna go off on that, but, so I thought, so I was actually I was hanging out with my mom, and we were talking, Louie, introduce her in this story.
Thank you, Luke.
And we were talking through different ideas that I had, and she kind of brought up the idea of involving work, and I was like, that's actually a pretty good idea. Like, so basically what I did is I put together this whole story. So I researched the Surf Lodge, found out who owned it, got the whole backstory on this person, and then put together this entire story of, like, so her name's Jema. She's Brazilian. She owns the Surf Lodge. She also owns, like, another hotel in New York. I don't know Jema at all, but I'm putting together this whole thing. So I basically email her bosses, and I'm like, here's what I want to do is I really want to surprise her, and here's the story I want you to tell. Is basically, like, the Surf Lodge is looking to expand their brand. You know, they've had a lot of success, but they're looking to, you know, to do more hotels. They're looking to potentially expand into Brazil, which is something I read in one of her articles. She said,
I read the email. It was really good.
So basically, like, gave him this whole thing, and I basically said, hey, the boss had a connection with someone who knew her boss, and because she managed Omni Hotels, kind of had some experience with hospitality, and they wanted Avery Foster to come up and really help out with potentially, you know, being the firm that would really help them with this rebranding effort. And I sent this over to their boss, to her boss, and they came back and they were like, okay, we like it, but this is going to bring up a ton of questions. Like, typically, if we do something like this, there's going to be, like, all kinds of interviews and prep work and all stuff. Like, it's going to be really challenging.
And Cheyenne's just going to ask them.
And he said, but Andrew, who's another boss, used to work at a firm in New York, an ad firm. So what we could do is change the story to where Andrew's firm actually has the connection, and they reached out to Andrew to provide, like, a white label service. Since Avery Foster's great at hospitality, they would basically kind of white label where they would come in. So he said, in that instance, like, we wouldn't have any of the prep work, none of the interviews, like, she would just show up because the lead firm is doing all the work. And I was like, oh, that's amazing. That's so much better. So, like, great. So basically they, you know, pitched her on it, told her, and so
It was funny, I had just gotten back in town from, like, a bachelorette party, and I'm traveling a lot in August, and I'm like, they're like, hey, we need you to go on a work trip, like, there's this, like, potential new client, blah, 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 and I was like, no, I don't have the time. Like, I was like, no, I can't do it this weekend, blah, blah, blah. They're like, well, I mean, let me reframe that. Like, we want you to go to the Hamptons for the weekend. And I was like, yeah, when does my flight? Great, yeah, I'll totally go. And I call him, and I'm like, Holden, my company's sending me to the Hamptons for the weekend. I'm like, oh my, this is so amazing. He's like, oh, well, fine, that's so rude. Like, I want to go. Like, he starts, like, playing into the whole thing. So I'm like, I'm getting treated like a queen. And meanwhile, he tells me this story, like, fabricates the story that he's going to go camping in South Texas.
Well, I just said, hey, you know, a friend of mine's been, like,
begging me to go.
badgering me to go camping, and I guess I'll go with them.
Which for me, I'm like, camping? Like August? You've never gone camping. Like,
well, the way that it worked, because it was,
yeah,
it made sense because my friend, like, who's really been wanting to hang out, and he loves camping, and I was like, look, I'll just go. Like, this isn't my deal, but he loves it, so I'll just go. And she's like, oh, that's good. Like, I'll be going to work, and you can go do that.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, of course you like to go to this super cool hotel in the Hamptons. Like, this is...
So, long story short, I arrive, like, I get there, he's right. My bosses were right. I was like being really inquisitive. I was like, what is this job for? Like, what am I doing? Like, I'm doing my research like I normally do with any client, and everything seems to be like functioning perfectly well with this hotel and this brand and everything. And I'm like, you really don't need us, but like, I'm not saying no to this trip, so whatever. So I get there, like they pick me up in a nice car. Like I arrive, I'm in this like 2-bedroom, like the whole hotel only has like 22 rooms or something ridiculous. And I arrive and it's like packed with like all these like really fun people. Like the bands are arriving and they're like, her name's Tatiana, and she's like, let me show you your room. And it's like the only suite they have. And I was like, I think you got this wrong. I call my boss and I'm like, hey, do they think we're staying together? I was like, I'm in a 2-bedroom suite. He was like, I don't think so, surely. Like, surely they don't. I'm like, I'm gonna go down and talk to the hostess. I think this is wrong. I go downstairs, I'm like, hey dude, like, I think you put me in the wrong room. There's like a 2-bedroom, 2 thing, like I'm like above all the bands. This doesn't make sense. And she's like, no, it's your room. Like, just enjoy it. I'm like, oh, all right. So I grabbed my drink.
And I've been in there like prepping
out.
These 3 girls like for an hour. I was like, here's who she is. She's gonna come
so
in like this.
confused.
She's going like, I need you to be on
She's
top of
gonna
it.
ask a lot of questions.
Tatiana was so
great.
on top. She was very sharp.
So she's like, hey, like, when do you need to go to dinner? I'll call you a car. I was like, okay. And so then my boss texts me. Meanwhile, Holden and my boss are texting behind the scenes. My boss texts me and says, hey, like, we're running about 15 minutes late. You know, can you just go ahead and go? The reservation's underneath this name. Like, order a couple appetizers. And I was like, okay, this is weird. Like, I don't know these people. You're the connection here, but sure, like, whatever. So I get there, like, it's like the perfect time. The like,
So I'm gonna stop you real quick. So there's a lot going on behind the scenes at this point, obviously. I get in the night before, Thursday, and I'm flying to New York, and then I'm driving, and I get there, and I had created this idea of I was gonna propose on Navy Beach, and then we're gonna go to this place called Rushmeyer's, and I got to Navy Beach, and I was like, oh no, like, this is terrible. Because I've been on like Google Earth, like trying to like get it, or like Google image it. Like I've never been to Montauk, like I don't know. So
he was like,
so I get there and it's like rocky beach and like it's all these like kids. Like I get hit twice with a ball. I'm like, this is not the environment like I pictured. I go to Rushmeyer's and it's a cool place, but it's like super laid back. It'd be like going to the truck yard or something. I was like, no, it's not what I was going for either. So I'm panicking. So I have like 5 other places, so I go over, one of the other places I go to is a place called the Crow's Nest, and I got there and I was like, oh yes, like this is the place. But they don't take reservations, they're like one of the hardest places to get into. And so like, I'm like, this is perfect, but I'd get up the next morning and I'm panicking. I'm like, I'm here and I have no plan. Like my plans just all fell through because we cannot do Navy Beach. So, that being said, I also at the same time, Cheyenne thinks I'm camping. So,
and he's sending me photos.
I'm like, okay, hey, we're taking off. Like,
no, but he's sending me photos of like stuff that he just got off like the internet. And he's like, brunch.
No, he's Googling.
And it's like,
he's sending me the same photo. He's like, I just sent him this. Like, that looks like a stock photo. That's not even real.
I didn't even think about it.
Well, because I was like, I had to be authentic. I was camping, and so I was like, camping. Like, I need to send her a picture to like. So I Googled camping photos.
And I'm sending selfies in the hotel, like, this place is awesome! Like, and he's like, oh, I'm so jealous. And meanwhile, he's like, brunch, and it's like ham and eggs over a fire. And I'm like, yeah,
well,
cool,
I got a
care.
picture, like, I went through and it was like, it was a picture of a skillet with like eggs and ham. And I was like, making breakfast.
So
and, you know,
I didn't even care. I was like, that's so weird. Okay, well, whatever.
So, I mean, and like, so basically, like, I'm doing all, so in the meantime, I'm in Montauk, like, trying to figure out, like, where we're gonna, so I go in to, I find out the name Celine is the person who, like, runs the Crow's Nest. She's, like, the big deal. And I go to talk to Celine, and I'm like, hey, Celine here. She comes down, and I, like, every bit of charisma I have inside of my bones. I like it. I was like, Celine, you have to help me here. She's like, we don't allow photographers on site.
Oh, Lord.
Like, we don't take reservations. And I was like, please, you have to break every one of your rules for me right now. And she actually
broke all of her rules.
Broke all the rules. It was really cool.
Yeah. I told you, I was like, they love him. I was like,
so basically at this point, Cheyenne's like driving. She's like with her driver, like going to the Hamptons. I'm like sending all these camping photos. I'm like, oh, you're so lucky. It's so hot here. Like, you know, setting up camp. And I like Google like a tent or something and like take a picture of it. And I'm like sending it to her, and she's like, oh my gosh, this is like so great. And then she gets to the hotel, and she's like, this place is phenomenal. Like, And she starts sending me, and then Amy
I'm bragging.
sends me. She's
bragging
like,
all my friends.
she's like,
bragging
Amy
on
sent me
her.
like 10 selfies, or she's like, Cheyenne sent me like 10 selfies in the last 2 minutes at a hotel. She's like loving it.
So I'm getting both sides of Holden going, I'm really nervous, it's all being set up, and Cheyenne's like, this place is badass. Like, I really like it, and I'm having a really good time. So I'm feeling both. I'm like, oh yeah, you're having a really good time. I wish I was there with you. And Holden's like, wait, I'm really nervous. I'm getting both sides.
So I have no place to stay, so I'm getting changed at this point at a state park. Like there's like
In
a
a
public
bathroom,
bathroom. She's
like,
like,
no
this
mirror.
is so nice here. And I'm like, yeah, it is really nice, because I was like, I would love to be in a hotel room. And so, but I'm all like kind of counting down the minutes here. And so I'm trying to orchestrate with Andrew, because I'm not exactly sure how we're going to do it quite yet. Like I've kind of got it all the way here. And so basically there's a restaurant, you come down and there's a beach, like a bar on the beach. And so you kind of have to walk down the grass right here, and I'm like, Cheyenne's not going to like.
Yeah, I'm in heels, per usual.
So I was like, someone is going to have to, like, someone at the front's going to have to be really good. And there was this guy named Safik, and he was like, I was thinking initially, I was like, the host or the hostess is going to be really important. And I got there and like, I was like, please don't let it be like some 17-year-old person who's just like, doesn't get it. And like, this guy Safik is so sharp. He's like, I'm telling him what I'm showing you. He's like, I've got this. Like, I'll take care of it. And so I was like, so we basically, I had Andrew say, hey, put it underneath the, what was her name? Sue Karen. Like Sue Karen, like, so we come in and I said, hey, can you say you're running 15 minutes late? So she has to come in at the beginning. And we set up these two couches, like in front of the water. And I had the photographer and the videographer like out, all perfect set up, like back in the like trees or whatever, like so you couldn't see them. And so, but this place is packed, and so people keep trying to come sit on the benches, and we're like, hey, you can't sit here, like kind of thing or whatever. And so like by this point, everyone knows what's going on, because they're all kind of pissed, because they're like, those are the best seats, and you're like taking them up. And so there's like 70 or 80 people all sitting, kind of like waiting for Cheyenne to come. So at this point, she's like, you know, and I remember I was texting with Cheyenne, or I was texting with Amy, and I was like, where is Cheyenne? Like, you know, she should be here. And you were
I
like,
went dark. I put my phone on airplane mode because I thought I was sitting in business dinner. So I was like, okay, bye friends. Like, I got to do my work stuff. So I get there, I show up, I'm like, hey, I'm with a reservation, Sue Card. And he's like, oh yeah, 1 second. Goes and gets someone else to kind of man the hostess stand. I'm like, oh, there's a big bug on you.
Holy good God!
I'm sorry. Oh gosh. I'm sorry.
I'm good. Continue with the story.
Like,
wow, that was a highlight right there.
Sorry, okay.
I was feeding it.
So I show up. He basically gets someone to cover saying, he's like, let me show you where they're at. And I'm like, well, that's okay. I was like, they're enjoying a moment on the beach. Like, I'll stay up here at the bar. Like, no problem. He's like, no, it's fine. We have a really long wait tonight. It's a Friday. It's typical. I'll walk you down there. I'm like, all right. So I'm walking down this like grassy knoll, and it's like pretty steep, and I'm in heels. I'm like, I look like a fool. Like, clearly I'm a tourist because I should have known better than what I was wearing. And we get on the beach, and I turn the corner, and Holden's like sitting in this cabana, and it like, Holden says, and he's like, you look scared. Like, I was truly frightened because I was like, why are you here on my work trip? Like, I was just so confused. I was like, what? Like, what? And then all of a sudden it starts to make perfect sense, and I was like, wait, why are you here? Why are you here? And with every time I say it, I start crying more. I'm like, but why are you here? And he's like getting on one knee, and he's like, you know, says this thing, and I was just like, and like he opens the like ring box, and he didn't even get to put it on me. I grabbed it, and I was like, yes, yes, yes. So the whole beach is like clapping, and I'm like, who are you people? There was like a photographer like attacking us, and I was like, who are you? And he's like, I'm Paul. I was like, hi, Paul.
He like apologized later for attacking us. I was like, no, it's fine.
He's like, I'm sorry. I had to like, I wasn't expecting you
because
to come
he
so
was
soon.
like, they were all set up to shoot from this angle, and he brought him around, so they all had to like run and go where he was going.
And I was like, who are you? He's like, I'm Paul. So anyways, then I start crying, and like, it was really funny because from then on I really couldn't eat. Like, it was the best spot in the house, and every time I went to the bathroom, like, Holden jokes, because every like New Yorker in the house was like, oh my God, he's so romantic. I have so many pictures to give you. And I'm like, my phone said, he's like, what's your fiance's number? I'm like, who are you? What? I mean, it was like, they were so into it, and I was like, oh.
Is that Marissa Tomei?
It was perfect.
Good job, Holden.
What did she say? You did so good.
Well, it'll never be known because she does not remember
I
anything.
know! All I remember is I was like, why are you here? And he was like, Cheyenne and Daisy, and I was like, no, why are you here? And he was like, you are my person, like, I love you so much, like, will you marry me? And I was like, oh. I mean, I just
I
like
said
took
a
it.
lot more than that.
I don't remember. Those 3 lines.